I like having fun. I like to laugh. I like to meet people who can make me laugh. I like having fun. Yes, I like to laugh. I like
Good
having
afternoon
fun.
for anybody in the West Coast, Central Coast, right here in the industrially ravaged East Coast of Florida. It's the two-time award-winning Office Hours Live. I'm Tim Heidecker here, coming to you from yards from the Atlantic Ocean.
Why is your fan off?
Hello. What?
Why is your
I want to get into that.
What are we, your turkey dinner?
Yeah, why is your fan off?
No, the angle's fine, right? The angle.
Angle's all right,
Should I
yeah.
go up?
No, you're more of like a turkey sandwich.
Angles.
You know what I mean?
I thought about the fan. I said, well, the fan would be a little much for the whole show. It's good in small doses when the Zoomers call in, but you want me to turn it on? I can turn it on if you
see how
want.
fast
I'll
it
turn it on.
goes. There's
Stick
different
around for the
levels.
second half. Stick around for the second half of the show, and you'll see the fan whirling at high speed. That's right. We're back on a Tuesday. It is Super Tuesday, July. Every Tuesday this month we'll be coming to you live, sometime mostly at our normally scheduled hour. But believe it or not, we adjusted our schedule. Not for me. I was ready to go earlier today, but we have a very special guest today. Emma Vigeland from the Majority Report will be zooming in. We had to wait for her to finish her little two-bit show that she does with the, what's his name? Sam Seder? Sam Seder, the goon.
Pig fuck!
the Biden apologist.
Yes.
Who was welcome on this show once, and he had an opportunity to really make a name for himself here, but squandered that opportunity very quickly, I'm afraid.
Come on, man.
Look, but we love Emma, and Emma's been a tremendous voice of reason on that dying show. And I hope she finds her way out. Is my message to her, which I'll be delivering shortly. Doug Loosenhop is in the old Office Hours headquarters. Doug, I'm turning it over to you.
Good
How's it
horning,
going today, brother?
Good horning somewhere.
And Victor Berger the fourth, with some big news. I'm going to turn it to you, Vic, now for some big news.
Let me do this real quick. What's sip, everybody? And I got to tell you, 3 weeks ago, I broke my glasses. The lenses popped out. They cut in half and everything. So I've been wearing...
Where's the pop sound effect, Doug?
Yeah, so I've been... You got one? I've been wearing prescription sunglasses 24/7 for 3 weeks. But I got big news. My new glasses are here that are not sunglasses. So can I have a drum
reveal them
roll?
now?
And yeah.
Hold on, let me get that drum roll back to you.
He was up all night working on this reveal.
All right. Thanks, guys.
I like them.
There they are.
Look at that. Now you know who you look like.
I don't know. I'm scared to hear this.
Take the cowboy hat off. You look like Mr. Randy Newman, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah. I love LA.
Cut the tape.
Kind of like
I like
Mother's
Vic
Spa. A touch of Mother's Spa, perhaps.
I like Vic
Ooh.
Berger. I don't like that he's taking my look. And so much more. We have John Gentle calling in, a new podcast from the folks at Best Show is going to drop in later today. We'll have your Zooms. Quick, two big. There he is. See, there's Vic.
I like it all.
Go for that. I'll play him in a biopic.
Okay.
And what else do we have, Matt? We got my new record was announced today featuring Vic Berger. People can find that. The new video for the lead single is now on my YouTube page. So if you haven't watched it, go check that out after the show today. We're very excited about it.
Can you, how do you order that? Can you pre-order it today? Or is it just like you can only watch a video
you can
today?
pre-order it at timheidecker.com. That's right, folks.
Nice.
get in your orders. We only made 5 copies of the LP, so pre-order should move quickly. I don't know, but we'll see.
And each version is a new version. Each album is a new version. If you have
Yes.
5 of them, they're all
And
unique.
5.
The lead single has a bit of a country tone to it, but the record is quite diverse in its sound and texture. And
Definitely.
I did get a bad. Should I read my bad?
Oh,
YouTube
this
comment?
is. You should only read the nice one. How about just read the nice
No,
one?
One bad
that's
comment?
the worst. Well, there's
Just
always a
one- yeah,
bunch,
just
but
one.
this one came in from Lord Constrabuzz. Not a terrible song, not great. Vocal melody is way too simple and repetitive, and the mix is off. Every instrument is too isolated, especially the vocals. So that's from
I don't
Lord
understand.
Con-
Yeah,
How
Lord-
do you
doesn't
make
make any
them
sense
all
to me.
too isolated?
You know what I say to him? I say, "Thank you, my lord."
Who's Adrian
Yeah.
Linker? Who's Adrian Linker? Is that a good name?
From
Big Thief. Big Thief. That's
Who's
a
Big
that's
Thief?
a nice
I don't know who that
compliment.
is.
Our
But
friend of show.
I
Big
don't know. I
Thief.
don't want to. Lord Constrabuzz. Is it Lord Constrobuzz? Yeah.
I don't think that's his
Lord
real
Constrabuzz.
name.
You don't think he's actually a lord?
No.
Lord have mercy on
I think I ran into him at the vape shop. If you take a look at his profile, you know, I don't want to be that guy who's doxing anybody to go to this guy's site, but he's one of these clowns with like a skeleton on his thing with like he's into like samurai stuff and he makes beats. He's a DJ. Just stay away. Keep mind your own business. I didn't need your notes about the record that's already done.
Can't
I
you
wrote
go back
to him,
and
I said,
can you go back and
I
mix
said,
it again?
anything we can do at this point?
Give him the stems and see what he can do.
That's so
that's a good
weird.
idea.
I don't know. I don't
What
really.
a weird thing to
Right. The first thing to
chime
say.
in on.
See, like he started off
Clearly not his music. Like if you
Right.
looked at his page, it's all into like it looks like it sounds like a bunch of AI crap, like some techno shit.
but he like butters you up with a nice compliment there, and then
The compliments, I guess it is. I don't know. If you're saying
Well,
you sound like somebody,
sound
you're
like-
like
yeah, maybe it's not a
being
compliment.
reductive.
I don't know. That guy's got to cheer up. That's all.
But anyway, I'm fine. I'm rested. I'm
Yeah.
feeling got in some good ocean time. But I've got a little bit of a scoop on you, Vic,
Oh
because
shit.
I
Now
went the
what?
other way with the glasses. I have a new pair of, folks,
Nuh-uh.
drum roll,
Oh, wait a second here. Damn it. I have too many pages of sounds now.
sunglasses.
Wow,
Tim,
those
are those-
Sloppy
nice.
boys
I like
now.
that. I like that.
Are those the Ray-Bans where you can film?
No, they're just I don't. The brand's called Abaco. All cops are bad company. Abaco.
all?
Well, what's the
No,
B
it's
for?
ABAC. Yeah, Abaco. And I'll tell you what happened. My first dip in the Atlantic Ocean went real well. Felt great, but sunglasses that I brought down and was wearing are now in the middle of the ocean.
Oh
They
my
just went
God.
flying right off my face. They were gone for good.
pollution.
Tim, I went to the movie theater the other day and I had my brand new AirPods in my pocket. They fell out. I heard the clickety clack. I grabbed them. I get home and there's one pod missing.
Oh my
One minute
God.
right out.
Both?
I've been calling
didn't
this
grab
theater.
both?
I'm calling this theater. No answer.
What the, what kind? What are they? The
You
newest,
have reached
the newest ones or the-
Moviefone.
I might have an extra one.
Press
'cause I lost
one
too
for
before.
Really?
today's listings. That's what you got, Doug. Remember Moviefone?
Of course.
My audience,
Oh,
some of my
yeah.
audience, I bet these youngsters don't know Moviefone. Let's get a zoomer in here real quick before we get to Emma, Matt.
All right, let's talk to Justin Owens.
Oh.
Justin Owens, do you or do you not remember Moviefone?
I
He has no clue.
What the
Too young.
Let's check in with
I've never
Steven.
heard of that.
We got 2 beard
Bye,
boys
bye,
today. Check
Justin.
this out.
I'm looking for Steven. Steven, give me an answer. Yes or no. Be honest. Do you
Hello.
remember? Do you remember the kind of December with Moviefone?
I never used Moviefone.
Ah.
My
Well, that's too much
local
beard, Matt. I
area
gotta let that guy go. That is
Let's get
way
a
too
better
much.
angle.
Should we go back to that other beard?
What are you, Gritty from the Philadelphia Flyers? Son of a
No,
bitch.
he's
I
the
like
other
that
guy.
beard.
What's the guy that?
Did you
with the
put
beard on the
Moviefone
Phillies?
in the cassette player?
No. You called
No.
Moviefone to find out what movies were playing. That's literally all you did. That's
Mm.
how you found out. Like, it was also listed in the newspaper, which you also would
Mhm.
get. If your parents got the newspaper, it would appear there.
My
but
grandma
th-
still
then-
reads the newspaper.
I've seen a newspaper before.
Have you seen a newspaper?
Yeah, I haven't read one, but I've
Uh-huh.
yeah, and I think they're in museums too.
Hello and
Right.
welcome to.
Well, is there anything we can help you with? You got your hand raised.
Tim, I got the recording.
Oh, I guess one question is what was the cast of What We Do in the Shadows like in real life? Oh,
Awesome.
great.
I have a new feature on Zoom. I'm kind of curious to check out. There's this multi-speaker view. You want to see if we can get both these beards on together?
That'd be amazing.
Is that going to work? What
Hello
did that
and
do anything,
welcome
Wes?
to Moviefone.
There we
Moviefone.
go.
So exciting.
Didn't work. Never
I used to
mind.
call and get the
Ooh,
charts, the Billboard chart listings.
I don't want to trigger Vic, but there was a great episode of Seinfeld where Kramer made his number was like one number off from Moviefone. Do you remember that?
Oh.
And people would call him all the time, and he'd have to he'd have the paper there, and he was pretending to be the Moviefone guy. Got real stressful
That's
for
really
him.
funny.
All right,
Okay, what do we?
are we good? Should we wrap it up, Matt, or what do you want to do?
That's enough show for me.
Donald.
Yeah, that's a nice 10-minute. That's Doug, we used to do this show called Tim and Eric. Awesome show, great job. They'd be 10 minutes, and it would be enough.
That's all you need.
A lot of work went into it too.
Yeah.
Well, we are
Believe it or not.
obligated to do the city of the day no matter what.
Okay,
So
right.
we could do that and then end the show.
We're way past
Yeah,
10 minutes.
let's do that, and then we'll get to Emma. So,
Okay.
Emma, if you're listening,
She's ready.
She's ready.
Yeah, we can see her.
The city of the day. City of the day. Ain't much more to say. Let's all play. City of the day.
City of the Day is brought to you by Bitey Mods. Bitey Mods, do you like to stand out from the crowd with tattoos, piercings, and other hardcore looks? Well, now you can express your badass lifestyle through food with Bitey Mods. Bitey Mods lets you pierce and tattoo almost any food item. Put a horseshoe barbell on your sandwich, stretch out your steak with a nice fat gauged plug, or add one of our edible tattoos to almost any pasta, salad, or bread item. Bitey Mod piercing hardware is made from reusable food-safe titanium and comes in a leather satchel, so you can be ready to munch in style wherever you go. And if you're into the goth look, you can turn any food into a nightmare with Bitey Mod Food Blackener Spray. Now, when you're eating a salad, the normies around you will know that you have a twisted mind of a freak from hell. Order now and get a free hot dog choker. It's time for Jingle.
If you want to make your food look really cool, use Bitey Mods. Bitey Mods.
Okay.
Woo!
And I'm told Emma has left the chat. She has sent a nice but terse message to Matt saying she's no longer available to speak with us. Okay. But who is the city of the day, Matt? Or
Nick
what is the
Russo?
city of the day?
Nick?
Hey, Nick's here.
What?
Nick. Hi, Nick. Where are you calling
I'm
from? What's the
calling
city of the
you
day?
From Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
All right. Home of the Republican National Convention.
That's exactly right. I think it begins next Monday.
Nice. It's going to be fun.
Yep. The excitement here is palpable. It's going to be like when Tim and Vic saw, who was it, Sean Spicer and Nikki Haley outside the theater?
No, not Nikki
Went on
Haley,
steroids.
Carrie Lake.
Carrie Lake. Yeah.
Carrie Lake.
Did
yeah.
we show that video? Oh my God.
We did, yeah. She was not happy with you, Vic.
She was-
You were being a pestering little gnat.
Wouldn't give it up. It wasn't fair. She said it wasn't fair what they were doing.
And I think she said you looked like an idiot or something.
Yeah, it was something I can't remember.
And he wasn't even wearing
exactly.
those glasses.
No,
folks.
I wasn't. I didn't look that ridiculous or highly.
Well, you were wearing a
ridiculous.
big old cowboy hat.
I did have
think.
the cowboy hat.
And the Tim Heidecker and the Very Good Band tour T-shirt.
Yeah, I know. What are they going to do? They parked right next to me where I was. I didn't want to be there, by them.
Do they still
We got
have?
it. We can go to the video.
Do they still have Summerfest in Milwaukee?
Ooh.
Summerfest just wrapped up. Yep, 2-week stretch. Saw
And who
Local
headlined
Natives
it?
a couple nights ago.
Who headlined it?
It's like every night. So the big most recent big one was Maroon 5. So I can't say I caught that one.
Whoa.
Who'd you catch?
I saw Local Natives, so they were pretty good.
And what are they called?
The Local Natives. That's your band name right there.
Hey, you know what? I just realized something.
I tried to do a bit, but
I know.
it didn't work.
Well, it doesn't really work, but you know what they call the, hang on. Yeah, or 6. It's more like 6, 7. You know who I like is the Maroon 7. You know who that is? It's the cast of Gilligan's Island.
Now I'm getting excited.
Not bad.
Oh, yeah,
More
but-
like
yeah.
the Maroon 7.
I'll say.
I wrote a new joke as my first joke I wrote. Not that one. That's my second joke. But the first joke was I've been really working on myself and trying to get centered and focused. And I've tried this new thing I read about TMM. Have you heard of TMM, Doug?
No, what's this?
It's tequila and margarita mix. Yeah.
Ugh.
So that's helping take off the edge.
Do you just chew it?
What?
Is it dry? Is it dry stuff or is what? Or what is it? Wet? I don't know.
No, I
what-
mix it with the tequila. And
Oh,
it's,
oh, you
what
do
are you
the.
talking about?
I thought you
It's-
just drank the mix.
No, tequila and margarita mix, man.
Oh, well, they have tequila mix too. You can get.
Tequila.
no, they
mix.
don't.
Can't
They
you?
have. No, you
Jesus
have
Christ, I don't know
margarita
what I'm
mix
talking
and you add
about.
tequila to it and ice. You
Too
son of a bitch.
confusing.
Then you have
Too-
margarita.
I don't understand jokes.
This is why Carrie Lake said this to you.
Yeah, here.
Here's what she
Play
said
it.
to Vic.
You sound as ridiculous as you look, which is
Not nice, Carrie.
It's true though.
She looks cool.
Yeah.
Got to admit.
She looks like that teacher from Little House on the Prairie. If that teacher with that whatever that tie thing on her.
Well, she
neck
kind of
is.
looks like Max Headroom. She looks like Waxen.
Yeah, I've never seen.
She looks like a
skin
figure
like
from
that before.
Madame Tussauds.
Well, let's not judge people on their
Well,
appearances,
but
guys.
it's because she's TV ready, I guess, at all times. You know what I mean? I think that's what it was. But it's weird
All
up
right.
close in person.
Well, let's talk to Emma, I think, because you know, I respect her time and
You respect all women in general too.
Thank you for respecting women.
well, hold on now. Let me introduce you, damn it. You got to know your place.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Emma Vigeland from the Majority
Yeah.
Report is here on Office Hours, finally.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Folks, you can hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound
great.
great. You're
Good.
still there. You're still trapped in Cedar's dungeon.
I know. Well, I had to clean the whole studio and make Sam dinner, which was difficult, you know.
I
But
always wanted to.
He eats early.
Yeah.
Early.
I've always
Yeah.
wanted to know what those panels are behind you. Are those like what are they called? The Asian walls. That's not the right word for it.
Panels. Paper
I mean,
panels.
whoa!
Can
I
you
didn't
put-
realize I was going to
No.
be subjected to all of this racism on your program. But no,
Right away.
I don't. I have no idea.
Did you put a
what they
pencil through
are.
it? Like, is it paper thin or is it plastic?
It's like plastic, and Sam, I think, put some gels on it. It's definitely not sturdy. I've hit into
No.
them a few times. You know, people don't realize how Sam has like made this desk. I think literally he made it. A lot of our stuff in the studio. I mean, again, we do this to obviously hide all the Soros money that we get, but
yeah, right.
But for the most part, you know, a lot of this is very do-it-yourself. So
Well, that's nice. If we
yeah,
if
it's
we
nice.
zoomed out a little bit, we'd see something different. I'd suspect.
Are you in a bathroom?
No, she's not in
no.
a bathroom.
Well, what if those panels
No,
came down and it was just like a living room or a bathroom or something? You know, it's like
mean,
We don't know what's behind the
you don't know.
panels.
We don't know. It could be anything.
You don't know. You don't know. But anyway, thank you guys for having me on. And
Yeah, you want to move on from this?
I don't.
'Cause we can
I'm not
later on
necessarily
talk to-
into the bathroom talk. I mean,
Yes.
come on, I'm a lady
No.
after all.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to talk about your facilities there, but we do eventually want to. We do eventually want to talk about Tim Pool's facilities when we can get through some of this other
Yeah.
stuff, because
That will be fun.
Emma is one of the, and I highly recommend people watch it. Emma's one of the few of us from this side of the political spectrum. Well, I don't know. He's probably had other people on, but who's visited the compound, was a invited guest, was, I believe, offered to play poker and eat sushi, and you had to get out of there.
I did.
Couldn't stick around.
We had a very combative interview.
Sure.
And, later on, he accused me of being a pedophile because I didn't support the...
Me too. He accused me of that too.
Oh, we have that in common.
Wait, what didn't she support?
I didn't support the banning of a particular book from a school called Genderqueer, which has been in middle school libraries and is taught in some schools. He lowered it to elementary school. But afterwards, he hadn't called me a pedophile by this point, but after the interview was done, when I went in there saying I want to kind of challenge this guy, I thought it was kind of heated. Afterwards, he said, well, don't you want to hang out? You want to play sushi, or you want to play poker? You want to eat sushi?
Let's play sushi.
Let's play sushi. And I'm like, I'm in West Virginia. It's not the top of my list in terms of sushi destinations. And also, I couldn't wait to get the hell out of there because of the energy. And also, I wanted to call Sam and Matt and Bradley, my coworkers here, and just laugh about it.
Gosh,
so I hightailed it out, and then that's when he called me a pedophile. Which begs the question: is like, when did he decide that I was a pedophile? Was it before he invited me to hang out, or was it after?
Look, I don't mind having sushi and playing a little poker with a pedophile. It's not, that doesn't mean I endorse their beliefs, or doesn't mean I'm one. All right. Well, did you fly in there?
They did. They
did you have to
flew me
fly?
down.
Oh.
Flew me down from New York to DC. I would have been fine with a train, but I think, it might have been Dulles or one that's a little closer to West Virginia. They're not far from West Virginia. They're I'm sorry, they're not far from DC in West Virginia. Yeah, they're somewhere.
Yeah, I was always
there.
wondering that. I was just picturing like West Virginia, like out in Appalachia somewhere, and they're like, what's his name, Vic? What's Bumble? The Bumble guy?
Pasobic, Jack Pasobic.
Yeah. I'm just picturing Jack Pasobic in like a, Ford 150 going down a dirt road for 30 miles to get to Tim Pool's place.
It is a little bit off the beaten trail, but there was a big, no trespass sign on the front.
Right.
One observation I had is there's a lot of caricatures on the walls. Marjorie Taylor Greene signed by her, Steve Bannon signed by her. Those are the ones I can remember.
Really cool.
Well, you got to keep Antifa out. I mean, did you see any Antifa warriors trying to scale the walls of the Tim Pool compound?
Not yet, but I mean, that could be coming because obviously, as Tim has been warning us for like 4 or 5 years now, a civil war is just around the corner.
He's so he's salivating for it. He can't wait.
My theory is he's just like, he has all this money now because he sells fear and hate. But now he's just building a playground for himself to have people come there and hang out with him because he doesn't know how to accurately like socialize with people. Is that kind of what's going on? Aren't there people living there? Like, it's like a bizarre
lot
situation.
of that. They're like a big old family. Where they all adults live together on a compound. There's some other types of groups.
Sounds like something I've read about before in other situations. All right, well, let's talk about, because let me just say, in all honesty, in all earnesty, I love the show you guys do, and I particularly, and I'm not calling Sam, I'm not kidding, I'm just kidding. I love Sam Seder. He never wants to drop the bit, so that's fine. I understand, but I am a man of many emotions and feelings, and I can put aside the bit every once in a while and say I love Sam. But since the Gaza, what do you want to call it, genocide, and now this Biden stuff, you have been killing it. I just respect and appreciate your wisdom and your I don't know. I mean. You're
straight, Jack.
And your passion. So I just wanted to say that, and I was so excited that you wanted to come on and just tell us what the hell is going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so where are we at now? Do you think the ship is sailing on him getting out?
Biden?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that he's winning the battle right now, but that doesn't mean he's going to win the war. I know that Sam and I may have he may be a bit more cynical than I am, and I'm not exactly sure, but I really find it really hard to believe that they're going to be able to withstand this just from a pure media narrative perspective. I mean,
which might,
now,
isn't all fair. Let's get that out of the way. It's not all fair, but it is what it is.
It is what it is, right? I mean, the media did a terrible job in 2016 of over focusing on Donald Trump because that was a salacious story, but this is also like, this is the rules of the game that you play, and so you can get mad about the rules, but we're still playing the game, and in the end it's just not a game. And that's what I think the answer that disturbed reportedly so many congressional Democrats from that sit down with George Stephanopoulos was when Biden, his final answer, Stephanopoulos asked him, so how are you going to feel if you don't step down and Donald Trump gets elected? And his response was something like, as long as I gave it my goodest try.
My goodest try. That's right.
He used the word goodest.
Look.
Come on, Jack.
Yeah. Look,
Man.
look. The fact of the matter is, if I lose, I lose.
No, he doesn't. Institutions.
I don't think he has a good grasp of the stakes. I mean, and you mentioned Gaza, and it's impossible to really know, and you can only just speculate. But the Netanyahu government has basically now been rejecting or proposed some demands for a ceasefire, which include not a ceasefire, including the right for Israel to continue fighting, which is in essence
not a ceasefire. Yeah,
a ceasefire. And so you have to, I think, at least begin to ask the question of, how has this leadership vacuum, or Biden's kind of very limited ability to be the president at this point, and they've conceded that it's between certain hours of the day, has that emboldened the Israeli government? And what else does that create in terms of, the United States as it relates to diplomacy?
Look at the attack on Kiev the other day. Less than a week after this meltdown happens. You don't think Putin is I don't know that sounds maybe conspiratorial, but if I was those freaks, I'd be like looking for every opportunity to gain ground for whatever whatever they're looking to do. I thought it was frustrating because I posted some shit and made, it was, and I talked about it on the show last week, but it was like, holy shit, we're in this little window of hope. We're in this little moment of time where there's this opportunity to make a change. It's dangerous. What you could say, it's risky. You could say it's complicated, but you can't deny that it exists in a real way. And I got hit so hard with people saying, "Well, it's too risky, and this is you're a plant for Trump, and this is how Trump wins." And it's like, no, this is this little sliver of an opportunity to do something radical and exciting. Jon Stewart talked about it last night. It was like, this would be so exciting.
Now I'm getting excited
for this country to go through the next 4 months and deal with this in sort of an energizing and responsible way, just the way France did, the way the UK did. Here we are. We could do it. We could do it if there was a groundswell of momentum to do it. But today it just felt like a little like the door's closing. But I don't know.
So the type, I agree with you. And I think I made this case on the show, which is that the Democratic Party has an opportunity here, and it's a crisis disguised as it's an opportunity disguised as a crisis, in my view. Not sure they'll take it because they're so institutionally kind of weighed down. But the entire American public is just extremely dissatisfied and almost nihilistic about the political process as it relates to these two candidates. Don't you want to be the party that listens? Don't you want to be the party that changes course?
Such a good, easy message to deliver if it's delivered responsibly. I guess,
and there's the other one.
And clearly.
I mean, I think Kamala Harris, I know there's a lot of really smart people that think we could do some sort of snap primary. I have very little faith that could actually be executed in any way. But even if it's Kamala Harris, if you want to talk about narratives, first female president alongside abortion rights being on the ballot is an easy narrative to sell as well. And people talk about these primaries like, yeah, she didn't do well in the Democratic primary. She was probably my third or fourth choice behind Bernie, Warren, maybe Julian Castro I really liked as well. And then Kamala Harris I might have gotten to, but she's not horrible. And she's at least somebody who can articulate the issues. She's at least somebody who has like an inspiring story, who people can get behind, who can drive turnout. Because right now, the way riskier option, as we're seeing, is sticking with Biden. And it's basically because he is dug in. And there was some reporting from Semaphore last night that his strategy of convincing Democrats he can win is not working. But he is convincing them that it's mutually assured destruction if they come out against him. Which is just a disgusting...
My way or the highway, Jack.
Democracy is on the ballot. That's what I've been hearing from the Democrats, and I earnestly think that Donald Trump is an extreme threat to this country, let alone what a Biden candidacy would do in terms of like just depressing turnout to a point where we could see the Republicans take over the Senate and widen their margins in the House and then also elect Donald Trump. The selfishness of that is astounding to me, but unfortunately, the Biden campaign seems unmoved at this very point. We'll see if there's some conversations behind the scenes. At least the Senate Senate Democrats just got done convening as of the time we're recording this.
Well, if you need to break news on our show, we sure would appreciate it if you're getting anything. But so a friend of mine was like, well, he's like, listen, I don't want to hear from people say, well, Kamala's bad too. We're Emma and I and all of us here, probably a lot of the people listening could list all the flaws and that she's a cop and her record. Like all these fucks are horrible on some level, right? So we're really back to picking the lesser of whatever evils, right? But I had this friend of mine saying, well, I'm worried that the sad reality is there's just too many white men who won't vote for a black woman. And my anecdotal brain thought about that is, well, who's the white guy that was going to vote for Joe Biden that now is going to not vote or not vote for, like, didn't we lose all those people already? Like, isn't that like a lost cause?
I think to a degree. I mean, I think there's an argument that can be made, but too often it's made, not all the time, but sometimes by people that are working backwards from like their own biases about who appears presidential and who doesn't.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton was a uniquely terrible candidate in the sense that she had 30 years of the public already making up their mind about her. So when she went into the election, there was really no ground she could make up. For the most part, very few margins, except for just drawing a bunch of turnout. And the problem is that people were more enthusiastic about Trump. And Kamala, I saw a graph where something like 8 or 9% of the American public say they have no opinion of Trump or Biden. They're around the same figure. But for Kamala Harris, it's 22%. And she's now ahead of Biden in this latest Politico poll within the margin of, ahead of Trump within this latest Politico poll within the margin of error, but Biden is down. And we know that this time in 2020, Biden was up by 8 points in the national average against Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And he's down. The Democrats need to overperform on the national, in national polling by 3 to 4 points if they have a chance with the Electoral College. And this is not going to get better for Biden.
And guess what? Just like you said about Hillary Clinton, everybody knows everything about Donald Trump now. Like, there's nothing new that can come out about him that is going to change anyone's mind. He is who he is. Everyone knows he's a convicted felon. He's a accused rapist. He's a liar. Like all that shit is. Well, yes, but what I mean is, there's no news that's going to come out about Trump that's going to change his polling or the level of support he has. I think, unless. I don't know. I can't imagine it, but maybe it's true. Maybe he slips further into dementia because clearly he has cognitive brain issues too. So maybe he just starts, goes out in the speech and just starts screaming the N-word for 40 minutes until his pants fall down.
No, that won't do anything. He needs to drink Bud Light or something. You know what I mean?
If he drops his pants, like he thinks if he's at a rally in Wisconsin and he thinks for a minute that he's in the toilet. Sorry to go back to the toilet talk, Emma. It's only a matter of time. But
I understand.
If he drops his pants and takes a shit on the stage, that might move a couple of points, I think. That's my
beat
point.
off.
And then wipes it with his hands and puts his hands through his hair. That, Doug, I think that moves the needle, don't you?
Well, I think if he did something that the right doesn't like, they might like that.
Well, he's
And,
done
I mean,
that.
the
He's
left
telling
doesn't. Both sides don't like that. You know what I mean?
Well, but he's got them by the balls because he's like they released the whatever it is, the platform for their convention, right? And they took out abortion stuff. What like they're doing all this crazy shit to be like, we're not going to put that in there because doesn't look good, but wink, wink. Like right? Like that's what they're pulling.
Unfortunately for the Democrats, the Trump campaign is actually running quite well right now. Trump has basically decided to lay low and let Biden implode in the media, and he'll announce his vice presidential pick probably sometime this week. But he held off longer than had been anticipated because he's a psycho and a threat to this country in so many ways. But he's a savant. There he is. Look at that handsome devil. But he's a savant about one
Vic,
thing.
that's not nice. I think that's not
mine.
fair.
I think
Okay,
that's
let's be the
mine.
party of fairness. Vic made all these in 2016 with the one long hair coming out and everything. And they sort of like became just part of your Google image search of Trump.
Yeah, I know. I love those. I love the like kind of distortion of reality in that. In it's for perfect propaganda purposes. Exactly.
Those are so good. Look at that one. He's never worn a yellow shirt like that.
I know.
I don't
He looks like he's working at.
There's the hair. There it is.
Yeah, he's working at Hertz. That's so funny. One more question, because, and then maybe maybe someone in the audience has a question.
I have one
Lots
question.
of Emma heads.
I have one
Yeah,
question.
and you guys have questions. But what's up with Bernie? Because it sounded like he's on Team Joe. He's not. You see, I thought he would maybe be a leader in the, it's time to move on voice. But I don't know. I haven't seen the latest. But it seemed like the other day he was like all in. Right? Do you have any perspective on that except disappointment?
I think, AOC and Ilhan Omar came out and said we support the president. I think there's a strategy right now with the leftier members of Congress, whether it be in the Senate or the House, not to say anything because then it immediately polarizes the situation and people can say, oh, like let the moderates.
It's more
like Adam
effective to come
Smith.
from the moderates, right? Yeah.
I think that's the cold-hearted strategy, but I don't necessarily know if it's gonna work. For now, at least, it's the right strategy. But I really do think that if he's the nominee, this is over. I don't see how he can recover from this. I'm raising the alarm bells because I'm so terrified of Donald Trump, and I actually think Kamala Harris could win. And the point is just that, Biden was up like 8 or so points by this time the year before. The Democrats need to be doing much better. He's losing in states like Wisconsin. Virginia's in play, which was previously unthinkable. New Mexico, previously unthinkable. Minnesota, previously unthinkable. And so
Trump, I was reading this. Trump hasn't even started spending money in those states.
No, he's been the Biden campaign has been spending more, and still it's not making headway. And so you've got to just look at the cold hard facts where an overwhelming majority of Americans think he's too old. And you can say, hey, you're a registered Democrat. You're going to vote for whoever's on the ticket no matter what. And we're getting a lot of those messages. And I hear you. I think that's a great choice. The reality, though, is that it's not about your individual choice or what you want to badger people into doing. It's about what's the most convincing argument for the public. And you have to drive turnout. Biden won in 2020. Again, along slim margins in the Electoral College by having the most turnout and the most people vote for him in the history of this country. If there's a good amount of people that just drop off, we're cooked.
I saw this really annoying, somebody, a comedian friend of mine posted, and it was it was very much like one of those Act Blue or whatever these, Democrat Instagram accounts are,
Hey
like
guys,
meme generated. It wasn't Jeremy Renner. And it was like, he's old versus he's a lying psychopathic Christ, like all the things about Donald Trump. And I don't think that's fair either, because it's not just that he's old, right? That's not what we're talking about. It's what's going on is a byproduct of his age. But I said this last week, Paul McCartney is 82 years old too, and he's touring
Bernie's
the world.
older.
Bob Dylan. Bernie, like there are older people. It's not about being old and it's not ageist. It's like when you get old, the odds of you having other issues increase. And that's what I think we're all seeing happening. But, you know, Brian Wilson is also that age and he's not somebody that's going on tour right now. Okay. That's a different set of circumstances. So don't just say you guys are just mad because he's old. No, that's not what's going on. Vic.
Well, I think there's like every important job in the world, like you have to go through like requirements. And like, this is like probably the most important job, I guess, because you're affecting everybody's lives. Like, why can't there be some kind of like psychiatric evaluation, just like an objective thing that says, all right, well, clearly both of these guys are a disaster. Trump has a personality disorder, only cares about himself. Biden's clearly, falling apart mentally, and he's not a good spokesman for his message or his party's message. Just, it's time. I mean, I don't know why, I don't know.
It's Biden. It's Biden. He thinks this is, look, they're trying to take grandpa's keys away.
Right. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, this line about I take a cognitive test every damn day when I answer my emails and tell people what to do. Like, no, it's not. Right. He also in that interview said that he stopped Putin, which he hasn't.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's not happening. He said there was a Middle East peace deal that isn't happening right now. I had a good litmus test or a good like physical, because I went to the water park with Matt Carlin last week, and I think a presidential candidate should have to complete 3 water park slides. Like when you go to the water park, like you have to complete, just go
you mean
down
the big
the
drop,
slide.
big one, the super scary drop, the vertical one.
Yeah.
Oh, those ones I can't complete those.
I know. I wouldn't. Well, that's why I'm not. That's why
This is
you
the
and me
president.
aren't running for president.
And they have to keep
We
their
don't have
pants
to.
on.
I don't have the gun.
Doug, did you have a question?
Yeah, their suit. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I have a couple thoughts, but if Trump wins again, instead of us suffering for 4 years and being tortured by him, should we just support him and think like, let's just like,
That's
give him
why
a shot?
Doug's wearing the red sweatshirt
Like, we'll
today.
just go full Trump.
Exactly.
We'll just support the guy and turn off our brain and just think, let's just if
fall
you
in
can't beat
line.
him, join him. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Or
I mean,
is
if
there
the
a way?
Democrats-
Sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah. No. Keep going.
Well,
going
or
with this bit.
the other option is can we somehow punish the Democratic Party and like, like have big protests like Black Lives Matter style, where it's like get out of here, figure something else out. Because like who's behind it? Who's installing this Biden guy?
Look, so I wish we could punish the Democrats.
We got to punish
but
them.
all they do is just blame the left and then continue to do what they've been doing. The fact that they haven't learned a lesson in this way from the previous failures is, I think, proof enough in and of itself. But I think maybe, as you're saying, we just give into it in the way that, like, when you're freezing to death, it starts to get warm at some point.
Yes.
The second Trump administration.
but he's easily manipulable though. Like he'll say yes to anybody sitting across from him. Like
Trump.
But the
Yeah.
problem is
If you start supporting him, then
Yeah,
you can
just-
sneak in stuff.
right,
Like,
you just say, hey,
Yeah.
this guy's. I love Trump.
hear about the
He's
global
great
warming?
at golf.
Yeah.
Butter him up.
I love
and then-
Trump. He wants women
Yeah.
to have the freedom to choose, and he definitely
Right.
wants free Palestine. And
Because he doesn't care
we're
about
looking into it,
any of
actually.
that. Any of that doesn't care about. He doesn't care about anything.
All right. What about people out there, Matt? Is anyone chomping? Do we have any Biden heads out there? I mean, I'm not trying to silence anyone's voices here.
Yeah,
And-
Exactly.
we have some
Free-
good
And I don't know, Biden
questions,
said
and
it
then
himself.
we'll.
He goes, "Challenge me at the convention." All right, let's do that.
Person, woman.
We have Nova has a good question, and then I'll look for some Biden heads. see if we
Donald
can-
Trump.
I'm Joe Biden's husband.
Nova.
Oof.
Yeah, hello.
Hey, Nova.
Am I on?
Prescription
Okay.
drugs.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if you had just sort of a quick rundown explanation for like campaigns, like when they get all their fundraising, and how much of that money do they like, have to give back to the party, or when their candidate drops out, do they have to give it to whoever like the party can, like the last person left, or do they keep it for next round, or like essentially all that money Bernie had from like the last 2 runs or whatever, like how much of that do they just keep with the campaign? How much just gets recycled back into the party? What are like some
Yeah,
basic
and
rules?
It goes to
And maybe,
hooker
Emma,
hush
you
money.
could just, and maybe Emma, you could just talk briefly about how that relates to if Biden, what would happen with the money that Biden campaign has run.
And I'm going to
if
mute
there's-
you, Nova, because your audio is a little wonky, but thanks for the call.
So that's a good question, and there's like a lot of Byzantine rules that I don't know if I could parse through right now, but the
God,
the
please don't.
reality I shall not. But the reality of only like Kamala Harris basically being able to access what has been fundraised is actually a real one. It's part of why I think it's basically Biden or Harris, and that's it. They have like campaign finance law as it relates to direct contributions to the campaign. I think legally has to go to that ticket in particular. Super PACs, it's a little looser, but basically all I've seen is that there are major campaign finance obstacles to putting that money towards anybody else. Now that it's millions and millions have been raised and donors are apparently shutting off the spigot for Biden, we shall see if that holds, if he continues to be defined in that way. But you also
And make
see
no
how
mistake, we will.
Yeah.
I was going to add, make no mistake. I like saying make no mistake. I think I should run,
Mm-hmm.
right? I could say all these words. Make no mistake. The Republicans will fight this like in the courts and make it seem like there's cheating. Even if let's say he drops out today, it becomes Kamala. Like the cheating and rigging the election narrative goes through the roof, right? Like they're just going to say.
I think they'll do that regardless. I think you know that there's a. I sense some of the stuff that I'm seeing about how the Heritage Foundation is going to sue on behalf to keep Biden on the ballot. And I'm hearing that mostly from liberals. It seems like usually people that are in the Biden campaign that want to scare people into that reality. I don't think that they could stop. There's no real formal ballot printing process for the states that are a little bit more closer to or earlier in the election. I think that's in September. So that's really the deadline. But it's this week and next week, I think, where the Democrats have to make that decision. But you also see with Trump, like, he's raising a bunch of money through his PAC and he's just giving it to his lawyers. So it's probably he can make that determination.
Loosey-goosey.
But I think our campaign finance laws are so insane. There's a lot of wiggle room. I just do think that it has to be under the purview, is my understanding, of that ticket and that campaign apparatus, which includes Kamala Harris. And that's why I think that's the most straightforward answer.
And just for the record, make no mistake about it. Nobody wants, the last thing we want is Trump to be president. This conversation from people like Emma and I is meant from a place of good faith that we want our best chance of winning against him in November. Yep. That's all it is. And it's like, you could disagree with that as a tactic or as a strategy of what we're talking about now, but now is the time that there should be this conversation. And I don't know. I got really beat up online. This is only weakening him. And and it's like, I don't know. It felt like this is the week to talk about it.
I love the idea that comedian Tim Heidecker or me on my show, The Majority Report with Sam Seder, can weaken Biden more than his debate performance, where he came out and within 5 minutes said, "I beat Medicare," couldn't string a sentence together. Let's be real. He can't articulate the case against Donald Trump. You're fired. Yes. He's got to be fired.
I'm not on Twitter very much, but I saw like Rob Reiner came out and said it was time for him to go, and like Stephen King, all these like big blue, what are they called? Blue verified Democrat people.
Blue checks,
Blue check. And they just, man, people were losing it. Like, I never thought in my life that I'd have to unfollow and block Rob Reiner, and like, I'm done with MSNBC. I don't want to hear one more word from Rachel Maddow. It's like, you better like, that feels as culty to me, that you can't be open to hearing these voices like speak reason to you.
The other culty thing is that they say that the polls aren't real. I mean, Biden said that, and he said his approval rating wasn't real. That's not true. The polls have been quite accurate for the past few election cycles, within 1 point for the Republicans in the last midterms. Biden matched those polls in 2020. And then in 2018, the Democrats outperformed by 1 point, but very much within what the pollster aggregate says. So it's fascinating to see these Democrats deny polls when I know that they have some issues. But this broad trend, I mean, Biden is down by 6 points right now in Wisconsin. This could be a bloodbath.
And you know that those people in there know that they're being disingenuous because they are generally reasonable people that listen to facts and science and understand how this works.
And Biden said that thing about if he loses, he gave it the best shot or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We discussed that. Yeah. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, darling.
I'm looking at my drops.
As good as
one more. And the other thing is, of course, like the threat that Trump poses is real. The Project 2025 thing is very real. This is really coming at us. This is really happening.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing is that the urgency of that, his desire to dismantle the administrative state, to install his cronies on day one, to possibly, I worry about it from my own rights, as the lady here in the sausage party. I worry about my reproductive rights. I worry about trans people. I worry about gay people.
Yeah.
I worry about non-white people. I worry about immigrants in this country who may not have documentation. I worry about all of that. And that's why this is the time to have this conversation about the Democratic ticket, because we're leading ourselves down some sort of death spiral or suicide pact with the Biden campaign because we're not supposed to hurt grandpa's feelings. The reality of the situation is that it's much bigger than you, buddy. I'm just hoping that the Democrats are institutionally pliable enough to change course here. And right now it's not trending in the right direction, but I'm still holding out hope.
Come on, man.
And I brought that up because I wanted to add to that you get also a lot of people saying, well, it's all the same. Both parties are controlled by the same corporate interests, and there's no reason, a lot of apathy. And the apathy's getting, exponentially bigger with what's happening with Biden. But the truth is it's not the same. Like, there are differences. There are policies that will change, that will affect people's lives. And for Trump supporters, they're hoping for the same thing. They obviously have different priorities about how they want to live and what society they want to live in, and those things won't be the same either way. So Emma and I might have to come back here in the fall and make some kind of very uncomfortable pitch
apologies
for the Biden administration, and we will continue to say the Biden administration and not that necessarily that man itself, because how is he going to be running anything in 2 years?
Well,
it's insane.
I have hope because I feel like the aliens are watching closely at this election, and they will step in, the extraterrestrials, and they will save.
What do you mean, RFK Jr.?
They will save mankind when they need to step in.
All right, Matt. One more call?
That's my hope.
And then we'll let Emma go.
Yeah, let's take a wild card from the hotline.
We could remind everybody that Biden plagiarized one time. Remember that? And he dropped out of his campaign then. Was that 1990 or something?
True.
That is.
Right?
Is the truth.
Simpler times.
Yeah.
215, Tom, you are live on the air.
He's also the reason we have Clarence
Emma.
Thomas, probably, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, who's on the line?
Hey. It's Tom in Bucks County. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Bucks County, swing state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, man. So this pod with Emma and Tim is just like mother's milk for my brain, and you touched on a lot of stuff I was going to ask about. And just a quick aside.
Right, well, thanks for calling.
When sorry. When Emma stepped in after Michael passed, like, that was an impossible task. And I think he did an unbelievable job. And I just think that's worth mentioning. I know it's been a few years, but yeah. But when the Democrats obviously accurately say that democracy is on the ballot, we know that's true. But like, when they're so steadfast in like rejecting these very, like, when the New York Times editorial board, when Adam Schiff comes out, being like, "Yo, Biden, can you please step aside?" and Biden's just basically saying, "I'm the boss," and nobody. Like, how are you sending a message that democracy is this, for the Democratic Party, and it just seems so counterintuitive, and it would. And if he went to Kamala, to me, it would show like we're willing to change, unlike the Republicans. We're willing to go in a different direction. We're willing to put a black lady on the ballot and not be scared. Like we can have some momentum. Instead, they're just like they're just emboldening a sickly old man who, if he wins, like it just shows that like, almost nothing matters. Like there's such a little chance of winning, and you're talking about the marginalized groups. The last time I called, I kind of went off about some jerk being transphobic, and like for folks that are trans or black or poor or disabled or whatever, like a Trump administration would be just terrible. And Biden is just basically saying like, la 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 la, I can't hear you. You guys don't matter, and it is beyond infuriating. But you guys, I love this. I hope you do this more, and I'll take any
we'll
more
get our complaints. Believe me, I'll get a lot of Z's in the comments.
I appreciate
sleeping emojis.
the Z
thank
quiet.
you.
Yeah, I guess I'm not cracking the jokes now, but it is, I think, just important to address the urgency, and thank you for the kind words, caller, of that. Every time Biden opens his mouth, he undercuts the urgency of the Democratic Party's ticket, which is that there are two existential issues right now: Donald Trump and his anti-democratic ideas, and abortion and women's rights and rights for, I mean, you could even add trans people, non-binary people, gay people, etc. Biden can't articulate that urgency at all. He also, by his very existence in the race, depresses turnout just because people are very unenthusiastic about him, but also because it's not going to register to them that this is an urgent election if you have an octogenarian who can't string sentences together and is holding on to power despite having an approval rating in the 30s that he doesn't believe, and he's losing in every poll. Democrats can't make their case with him at the top of the ticket because they need to be able to accurately describe the urgency, and that's the thing that's so frustrating. And I think it's not going to get better. The longer this goes on, there will be more questions from the media. This is not going away for the next 4 months.
And I think, in my guess is in the future, if he stays in the race and he loses, as it would be, that would be a good way to bet on the situation. You'll look back on not this moment, but probably 2 years ago, or whenever, a year ago, when the primaries were going, and it was clear that the Democratic Party was not going to open it up to other candidates to challenge him, and there was this idea that he was going to be a pass the torch candidate, president, and I know that's very complicated too, but there could have been a chance, probably a cleaner, much more sellable to the country version of this if it began a year ago, but it didn't, and now I understand that's very much more challenging. But we'll see if we're right.
He has a big ego, Biden. That's the thing.
Yeah,
he's got a big
Clearly.
ego, and that's. But anyway,
That's what we're dealing with.
I wanted to say also thank you for the shout out last week, Tim. You shouted me out to Hannah Einbinder of Hacks, and I've been obsessing about that show. It's so good. And it's like really great and critical of, old ancient comedians who just complain about cancel culture and don't update their material or anything like that. And, that is the problem with Sam Seder, is that he just can't get out of his own way and just like saying the
he
same...
he was like a 90s alt comic, was that right?
Yeah. And he's always just lamenting about like, maybe Dave Chappelle's onto something about all this. Like maybe Jerry Seinfeld's right that things were, you can't be edgy anymore. And
but Sam was never really edgy. I mean, he was kind of milquetoast, like ironic with like the flannel shirts and hanging out with David Cross and that kind of stuff, but never really went. Is it true it never really went anywhere, or?
That's my understanding, is like there were just like many series of failures. But it's that's that. So I'm glad that you are opening up the space for other comedians who want to talk about how, it's okay to be inclusive, because you have old guys like Sam just hanging on to this notion that, you just got to be as like racist and hateful as possible to be funny. It's just really frustrating for me to deal with on a daily basis.
I'm sorry to hear that. I do want to ask, if you don't mind asking Sam a question for me, how does he keep his pits dry? Because he wears these nice blue shirts. Oh, that Sam.
Yeah, we have an image to share.
Oh yeah, there he is. But he's always well dressed. Is it really cold in that studio, or does he just not perspire? Is he like a dog?
I should ask him about that. It's definitely not cold in here. There was a whole 6 weeks or so last summer where air conditioning was broken. Really fun stuff.
It's that kind of.
I will ask him about
environment.
that. But he does, unfortunately, probably because he sold his soul to the devil or something, still has a full head of hair at 57.
Yeah.
I am curious.
Yeah,
about
he was
how
one of
that-
those guys that looks unusually. He looks unusual for how old he is. Like he shouldn't. He looks strange. But anyway, all right. Thank you, Emma.
Thank you,
We'll let you
Emma.
go. Boy, you must be talked out, or do you love doing it? You just can go on and on and on.
To
'cause
be
you just
honest,
did the-
Tim, I could go for way longer. I'm a sicko.
Oh.
This is all I think about, especially because there's no NBA, NHL, or NFL on right now, which are my three
But
favorites.
you don't watch
and
baseball.
I don't. I mean, I
love
don't
baseball.
know.
That's my sport.
I know. I think that there's a generational kind of different. I mean, not saying you're older than me, but whatever. Like
I am. Do you know how old I am?
I don't, but I would guess you're like 42.
Nice. 48.
Nice.
40,
There we go.
48. I was trying
There
to
we
explain
go.
to my daughter the 24-hour clock, like the 13,
Mhm.
14, 15. It was like an Abbott and Costello routine. It was not sinking in.
I saw the Moviefone bit at the beginning. I remember Moviefone having to call in.
Okay, good. You're on the
Yes.
cusp.
So I'm on the cusp.
All right,
I'm
Emma.
30, so there
Well,
you go.
thank you. If you guys are not watching, the Majority Report is on. It's like every day.
Yeah, Monday through Friday, noon Eastern. We talk about politics every day. If you're sick of Sam, it's I host the show by myself on Thursdays, so try to
Yeah,
boost
yes,
those
you do.
numbers there. Make my case. for me.
I watch a little of you guys and then a little of Tim Pool, and I get both sides, and it makes me a very well-rounded man.
Are Thursdays Sam's nap day?
Something like that.
It's a recharge.
Something like that.
All right. Thanks, Emma. Take care.
you.
Thanks,
All the
guys. Thanks for
best.
having me on. Bye.
Bye.
How nice was that?
Wow. Matt, thoughts?
It's fantastic. We got a big crowd coming out, lots of Emma heads. We had one guy in the chat going bananas, real Biden head, but he wouldn't join on Zoom.
Okay.
Maybe second
Yeah,
half.
well, what are you going to do?
I'm calling
Well, look
you
at
out.
that. It took us right to the top of the hour.
That's right. We get
I
to
think
take a
she's
little
so
Sam
smart.
Seder break.
Yes, folks, if you're looking for a new toothpick, just you're looking for a new toothpick that has MSNBC flavored CBD on it, folks, that's the toothpick for you.
I meant an actual
I do
break,
love
but
it.
I do like a Sam Seder break too.
A what?
I meant an actual break, like a nap.
Yes,
but
we do need to take an actual
we need
break.
a nap. Vic needs
Then
a
we
quick
can
nap.
keep going. I love
like
coming in
naps.
remote. I don't know if it feel how everyone else feels, but I feel like I'm in my own private little headspace. I know you guys want to get your drops in. I'll let you get your drops in after the break.
Oh, human on Earth in the chat.
We got
Come on, get on
one
Zoom.
quick
Let's
one.
talk. Let's chop it up.
Oh, well, no, not anymore, Matt.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
going to
true.
get into this with this guy. He missed his chance, just like Biden missed his chance to
To do the right thing.
do the right
We
thing.
need a wide berth for John Gentle in the second half.
Yeah.
No hecklers. for John
And
Gentle.
what else do we have coming up? Your calls, but don't be giving me your. I don't want to hear any no politic-free zone
It's the fun half.
coming up in the second.
How are they
half.
going to not talk about they have boiling over with questions?
I know after all
I'll
that.
tell
that
you
we
this,
can't
Jack-
answer.
Yeah, we can't answer, and you know exactly how I feel. And Emma's not here to say anything, although she probably could be if we asked her. But what's there to say? You're not going to make some kind of argument to me that's going to be cogent and smart enough to change my perspective on it. All the best, though.
I do have an optional game we could play.
Ooh.
I love a game. So let's do this, Matt. I think we take our 5. Do you got a video to play?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
Is this a fresh vid from Vic?
This is a makeup vid. Last week we had a little malfunction.
Yeah, halfway through it, the power went out.
Someone unplugged Matt's computer. So.
But yeah, there's a little Allentown connection at the end here, Tim. You'll want to pay attention.
Okay. Well, I don't watch things that don't have me in it, but hear about it, I'm sure.
Tangentially related.
See you in 5. Patreon.com/Office Hours
Yes,
Live.
Patreon.com/Office Hours Live is how you support this show. We sell toothpicks there. Medically approved toothpicks for everybody out there. Patreon.com/Office Hours Live. My new record. Oh, and Uba Butler, a friend of the show, who's on the show. He's got he came on to promote his documentary last year or whenever it was, but it was only available in the UK. Well, now it's on the Vice channel on YouTube, and it's all about him sneaking into Amazon and being a bad little boy there. And my new record, Slipping Away, is coming. Go check out the video. Write something about how it doesn't sound good. I'll reply.
Patrons get the full show. 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 Patrons, they sure do get the entirely full show, don't you know? Patrons get the full show. Patrons get the full show. Patrons get the soulfo. Patrons get the full show.